When sharing the road with a truck, it is important to remember that, in general, trucks A. require a longer distance to stop. B. have large blind spots around them. C. may swing wide to the left to complete a right turn. D. all of these. When sharing the road with a truck, it is important to remember that, in general, trucks, D. all of these. Large trucks are a type of vehicle that can pose some additional hazards, and all drivers should be aware of how to share the road with them safely. Some important things to know about large trucks include the following. Large trucks require more distance to stop, compared to a passenger vehicle driving at the same speed. Large trucks have bigger blind spots to the sides, in front, and behind them. When making a right turn at an intersection, large trucks may first need to swing wide to the left to complete the turn. What is a pedestrian safety zone? A. a crosswalk. B. areas on and near the roadway with additional accommodations and regulations to help protect pedestrians. C. an area where vehicles are never allowed. D. an area with overhead bridges and underground tunnels for pedestrians to cross the street. What is a pedestrian safety zone? B. areas on and near the roadway with additional accommodations and regulations to help protect pedestrians. Pedestrian safety zones are created in areas with higher volumes of foot traffic or places where collisions with vehicles and pedestrians are a greater risk. A safety zone will typically be indicated by road signs and lane markings. Whenever you are driving near a pedestrian safety zone, exercise caution and give the pedestrians plenty of space. Avoiding stopping too close to the crosswalk or blocking the crosswalk. You should use your vehicle's horn when A. you are frustrated. B. another driver makes a mistake. C. it is necessary to prevent a collision. D. you want to help a blind pedestrian cross the street. You should use your vehicle's horn when C. it is necessary to prevent a collision. Your vehicle's horn is one way for you to communicate with other drivers. However, you need to know when and how to use your horn properly. The main reason to use your horn is to get another driver's attention in order to prevent a collision. If another driver is in danger of hitting you due to negligence, distraction, or any other reason, you can use your horn to try to alert them. Is driving a privilege or a right? A. a privilege. B. a right. Is driving a privilege or a right? A. a privilege. A license to operate a motor vehicle is a privilege granted to eligible drivers, not a legal right. If you fail to meet the necessary requirements to prove that you can safely operate a vehicle on public roads or if you commit certain offenses, your privilege to have a valid driver's license can be taken away. Depending on the circumstances, your privilege to drive can be suspended temporarily or revoked indefinitely. Drivers turning left must yield to A. oncoming traffic. B. traffic behind them. C. traffic on their right. D. nobody. Drivers turning left must yield to A. oncoming traffic. Whenever a driver wants to make an unprotected left turn, a left turn without a green arrow or without the right-of-way at an intersection, they must first yield to oncoming traffic, bicycles, and pedestrians. Should you always drive slower than other traffic? A. yes, it is required by law. B. yes, it is always safer to drive slower than other traffic. C. no, doing so will wear out your tires faster. D. no, doing so can disrupt the safe and normal flow of traffic. Should you always drive slower than other traffic? D. no, doing so can disrupt the safe and normal flow of traffic. Always driving at a speed slower than other traffic on the road is not actually the safest course of action. The safest speed to drive is one that is appropriate for the current conditions, which includes the normal flow of traffic. Driving too slowly can make traffic more congested and increase the risk of accidents. To regain control of a vehicle in a skid. A. Use your brakes. B. Ease off the gas pedal. C. Use your emergency brake. D. Press down on the gas pedal. To regain control of a vehicle in a skid, B. Ease off the gas pedal. Skids are often the results of a loss of traction in your tires after driving too fast. This can happen on good road surfaces as well as slippery surfaces and poor road conditions. The first thing you'll want to do when your vehicle goes into a skid is to slow down, but not with your brakes. Easing off your accelerator is the safest way to slow down and regain control if your vehicle starts to skid. You should look at least how many seconds ahead of your car? A. 1 to 2. B. 2 to 5. C. 5 to 7. D. 10 to 15. You should look at least D. 10 to 15 seconds ahead of your car. Scanning the road ahead of you is an important defensive driving skill to develop. To ensure that you have enough time and space to react to potential hazards ahead of you, it is recommended that you look about 10 to 15 seconds down the road. This will give you enough time to identify hazards you're approaching and make the necessary adjustments to avoid them. Do not park more than how far away from the curb? A. 9 inches. B. 18 inches. C. 24 inches. D. 36 inches. Do not park more than B. 18 inches. Away from the curb. When you park on the street, it is important that you do so in a manner that does not disrupt the flow of traffic on the roadway. When parking parallel on the side of the road, you'll need to make sure that your wheels are close enough to the curb so your parked vehicle allows the vehicles and bicyclists in the roadway enough room to drive safely. In most places, your wheels will need to be within 18 inches of the curb when you are parallel parked. You are driving in traffic on a road with 2 or more lanes in each direction. You should A. Always drive in the center lane. B. Drive in whichever lane you prefer. C. Keep to the right, except to pass. D. Keep to the left, except to pass. You are driving in traffic on a road with 2 or more lanes in each direction. You should C. Keep to the right, except to pass. On multi-lane roads with traffic moving in the same direction, you'll need to decide which lane of travel to choose from. In general, on roads with 2 or more lanes moving in the same direction, you should stay in the right lanes, except when passing other vehicles. On a road with 2 lanes moving in the same direction, stay in the right lane and use the left lane to pass other cars. Great job! Here are some of your next steps to getting your learner's permit or driver's license. Read and study the official driver handbook from your state DMV. Take more free practice tests at puedomanejar.com. Gather all your necessary forms and documents before you visit the DMV office. Before you know it, you'll be driving in your very own car all by yourself. puedomanejar.com. Free DMV practice tests and much more to help you pass your real exams. Visit us today.